But you know, it was overall enjoyable experience. But what am I trying to get away from? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also think sometimes with the drugs, it's not necessarily like you're out robbing banks and it's causing all this bad in your life, but it makes you content with stuff that you wouldn't be content with if you weren't high. It was always the biggest danger to me. You know, and I was like, there's stuff in my life that if I wasn't high right now, I would be changing that. I would be resolving that issue. And I'm kind of just good with it.
You struggled with marijuana?
Yeah. I was in rehab. I had first rehab. I was in like an outpatient rehab when I was like 15. I had to live in a rehab when I was 16. Yeah, it wasn't just weed. I mean, I loved weed. I had tons of bongs and tons of pipes, tons of like different paraphernalia and stuff. Like I was like a weed connoisseur.
Were you?
Yeah, but then I was into like mushrooms and acid and coke and meth and nitrous balloons and GHB and then ultimately like oxycontins and stuff too. But like, but like when I look back, it wasn't that it was like, I don't know. I just always look back. I'm like, the biggest thing was that I was content with things in my life that I shouldn't have been content with.
Yeah. What, if you don't mind me asking, like, what about your upbringing? Like, how did that unfold? How were you, like, you know, with your parents and stuff like that?
Well, we hated each other. It was like this wild situation in my house. It was like this crazy situation. We hated each other. It was like the opposite of like telling everybody the truth and like being in the tree of trust and people loving. It was always this me versus you like type of war. So like, so I think like the first time I got high, I was like, yo, like I'm out of that. Like I'm living my own thing now. And then it just kept going. Just kept going. I just started to love drugs more and more.
Yeah. Were you close with your parents?
No, we were. It was rough, dude. It was rough. I got kicked out when I was 15, which like now I like at the time I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll figure it out. Now I'm like, I look at a 15-year-old, I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
You can't kick a kid out in the street in California when they're 15.
Oh, you grew up in California?
Yeah.
What city?
This town called Livermore.
How does that
my
feel?
God, let's go.
Where are you from?
Livermore. Have you ever heard of Livermore? Yeah, it's in the Bay Area, the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories there. But it was the raddest town when I was a kid. There was like BMX trails and mountain bike trails everywhere. Like the coolest. And now it's like $1 million homes, like multi-million-dollar homes and wineries and golf courses. But it was rad when I was a little kid.
That's cool.
Yeah. But the drugs was everywhere, dude. I don't know. Miami probably was when you were growing up too. Could you get, because we could get mushrooms, acid, not everything, just a lot of weed.
Weed, yeah. I've done mushrooms and acid, but that's pretty much it.
How did you like the hallucinogens, man?
Psilocybin was something that changed me, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know what it was, but that's when the spiritual, like, kind of like side of me started to
open up.
Like I was just sitting at the beach. It was me and my friend sitting at the beach at night. I was looking at the moon, and I was like, "Yo," it was like a feeling that I'm like, we're not alone. This isn't it. We're not alone, but like this isn't it.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, that's one thing, dude, about getting in the spirit realm illegally that gets you into the spirit realm, right? The hallucinogens and stuff.
Yeah,
that's wild because the mushrooms I always felt like made me trip on me, whereas like the LSD made me trip on the world system. Like I do acid and I would trip on like this world system. I'd be like, something's not right with that, man. The mushrooms would make me like more internal. I would kind of be like, there's something with me. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had a bad trip. It was like, you know how it comes in waves? My first trip, I was like on the beach. It was at night. The moonlight was reflecting on the sand. And you know how like people walk on the sand? There's like footprints everywhere.